Washington Wizards, buy, sell, or hold. Final team. We've made it.
This is a hard team, and not just because it's the last one. So I have them. I guess I have them as a buyer, and the way I would see it unfolding potentially is you sort of like undo what you did in the Westbrook trade, which is they've got like several like nicely priced, you know, rotation-ish supporting level players, and I wonder what you could do to cobble some of that salary together. We're talking, like Harrell, we already mentioned as like a Charlotte possibility. You've got Aaron Holiday. This isn't part of these aren't all part of the Westbrook trade, but throw KCP and Kuzma in there. You've got Thomas Bryant. Could you package that with a pick, which is encumbered because they owe one to OKC that might not go till 26, I think.
I think it's protected
Probably,
roughly forever.
yeah. Probably conveying in 2023. I have in my notes. I forget what the protections were that made me think that. But anyway, could you put
top 12 in 2024, lotto protected next year in 2023.
Yeah. Okay, well, that may not convey then.
Top 10 in 25, top 9 in 2026.
Top 9. I love these protections. I don't hate Washington as a Sabonis possibility. If you could, because I think if the plan is we're about to pay Beal a ton, we need a second star, I think you could throw some of this stuff together, and some of it provides relief for the Pacers, and you'd have to figure out a way to get more draft capital in there, like a lot more. But I think Kuzma is not nothing. So I'm trying to think of second stars for this team, and Sabonis was like the only semi-available guy that I could think of that would sort of make sense.
What is it like? Harrell, Avdia, Hachimura for some, like, I don't even know, like, how are you even giving them a pick? You could say
that's the problem. You've got to figure out it might have to be a 3-teamer to get picks involved there somehow.
I mean, you could include one. It's just I'm not giving up a pick. Like, you say first allowable first and just figure on, it's going to be 2025 because we'll not make the lottery. Like, we'll send OKC our pick next year. But I'm not giving, like, it would. So I guess Avdia and the pick is the meat and potatoes. And then does Indiana want Rui? Can you get off Bertans in that deal? They might actually be able to use that type of floor spacing. If they're going to keep Turner, then though, that could be weird. Although Bertans and Turner, I guess, works in theory.
I forget Bertans is on this team all the time. Kuzma. I would like to keep Kuzma, I think, but like
would you like a very quick, fun Kyle Kuzma stat?
Yes, I would.
Unpredictable has a metric called clutch win probability added, and it measures exactly what it says. DeMar DeRozan is first.
Sure.
Kyle Kuzma second in the league this season in clutch win probability added per Unpredictable.
Well, that means he'd be first if DeRozan didn't like spend a whole week hitting game-winning threes, probably.
Or just was lights out the entire fourth quarter this season.
Yeah. No, I don't know. So they're weird. They're a buyer. I think they want to try to get better, just to keep Beal happy, because he made those comments to Chris Haynes of like, it's time for them to show me their commitment is there, all that stuff. But are they a buyer for you?
No, they're a seller for me, with the caveat that I'm not selling Bradley Beal. Okay. I think at this point, if you were going to move him, it should have been over the summer at the latest, and it probably should have been before then. Now it's sign him. He's only 28 years old, right? So sign him to his next deal, and he will still be movable when he's allowed to be traded after that. To the point, I would argue that he might even be considered still an actual asset on that deal, where it's not Russell Westbrook signing it after what Russell Westbrook signed it when he was 31 or whatever he was, if he was 30, and just, you knew Westbrook never being able to you never saw him being able to adjust to a decline in athleticism effectively. So I view Beal as more of an asset on his next deal for Washington than I do right now. Trade basically everything under the sun after him with you. If you still want to go for it next season, fine, but give yourself more flexibility. Like, what does it take? Will someone just give you Davis? Like, will they take Davis Bertans? The Spencer Dinwiddie fit has been tough. He has not looked great this season. Move him. Do something with the center position. You have Bryant, you have Harrell, you have Daniel Gafford. I know you signed Gafford to an extension, but like Bryant and Harrell seem pretty important to what you're doing. move some combination of those guys. I'm keeping KCP. I'm keeping Kuzma. Which teams are interested? Does someone want to take a flyer on Rui? I'm keeping Avdia. I'd get rid of Holiday. He's headed into restricted free agency. He hasn't really done anything meaningful for this team. So I'm selling like certain supporting cast members to give myself even more flexibility to maybe buy in the offseason or just keep my window with or without Beal open-ended. I don't think, look, if you trade, for example, and this is why I'm partly saying this, if they trade Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, let's say they trade both of them, how do you think their playoff chances will be impacted?
Not meaningfully.
There you go. Seller. So you can sell and still not punt on the playoff race altogether. And that's just where I'm at with this team. I think you could, if I'm allowed to equivocate, I could say either or. Like if you wanted to buy, I don't hate the idea of like, Sabonis is weird to me. Maybe he would be a good fit on this team. I get where you're trying to think of like putting in, and they already have like Kuzma and Kate, like they're kind of set with between Avdia and Kuzma and KCP as like those 3-4s. So, and then you also have Davis Bertans floating around here somewhere. I think they need to break up sort of that upper, like the bigger front court logjam when you're looking at either pure fours, where that feels like Rui and Davis Bertans / centers, where it's like Harrell, Gafford, and Thomas Bryant there. That's why I land on sellers for them. But if they wanted to make a play, it's just you're giving a first round pick in 2025 to buy someone meaningfully. That's what's tough for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, just to argue against myself and support your point, like if I would say though, if they're going to be sellers, what could you get for KCP or Kuzma? Right?
I thought about that, but it's like if you do want to still give yourself a chance with Beal, why would you move either of those two players?
That's the thing, yeah. But like suddenly, if those guys are on the market, suddenly they're to me like, then it's just not just Eric Gordon that is your two that is the only guy you can go out and get, and suddenly Kuzma's there's not a lot of Kuzma types because he's a 3-4 that can defend and do stuff with there could be some equity to be had there for sure.
It would be hysterical this offseason and I figured out a way that I think it would be worthwhile for the Pelicans to help out the Lakers. If you were the Lakers and said to the Pelicans, take our pick in 2024. So we're removing the right to defer in 2025, but we'll let you maintain the right to swap with us in 2027. So you now have a swap in 2027. Now the Lakers can turn around, offer Westbrook a 2026 pick, a 2025 swap, and a 2028 first round pick for, let's say, Kuzma, KCP, and then maybe just another, like a Spencer Dinwiddie sprinkled in there.
We got to stop because you just reverse traded Russell Westbrook.
While getting them Spencer, it would be the funniest outcome where they end up giving a total of 3 first rounders and 1 swap to the Wizards in some sort of Westbrook deal. But I'm being tongue in cheek. I am saying I did figure out a way for the Lakers, I think, to make it worth the Pelicans' while by saying, we'll let you swap first rounders with us another year to take 2024 outright.
The Lakers just need a do-over button. Every team once a decade should get a do-over button, and they would just.
The Lakers would have used theirs already.
Yeah, they would have done it already for sure. Yeah, they need another one.